Hello everyone, so today we just got the medal announcements for December. So these are the characters for 400 medals, 250 medals, 150 medals, and 100 medals. They added this new 50 medals section, but we'll talk about that later. So we'll start at the 400 medal characters and see who of these are worth it. So starting off with the Sweet Commanders, they aren't too bad. But personally, I don't think they're worth 400 medals. They have a decent special which gives you 1.1 chain multiplier added to your chain. But the issue with their special is that they mono strength, so they are really good if you're using a mono strength team, like for instance versus Garp challenges. But other than that, they're not really useful. The captain ability is actually pretty underrated. I mean, having built-in despair reduction is pretty good. So that's actually not too bad for mono strength. But other than that, they aren't too good. But another good thing about this character though is the support effect, which attaches to Big Mom and Perispero. So when you get inflicted with special bind or despair, it reduces it by 2 turns. So in those circumstances, the support effect is really good. So I'd say if you don't have any other characters, if you're missing none of the other characters in the middle shop, this isn't a too bad option, but they're not gonna be required for any content. But they'll all be just nice to have if you're running mono strength. But that's it for the Sweet Commanders. Next we have Belle Hancock. So this unit's actually really good. She has one of the best super types in the entire game. So she's really good for mono. She also has this unique effect in her special ability, the Melo effect, which makes it so that enemies can't attack you when they are inflicted with it. They can still inflict like effects after like a certain amount of turns though. So the ability is not all that great, but if you're trying to stall, then it's not too bad. She also gives you some cooldown in her special, so that's pretty good. But as for a super type, she changes all slots, including block, into Psy, and she gives you a 2.5 times attack for Psy characters for a turn. So that 2.5 attack boost is no joke. That is really good. So this is honestly one of the best Psy units in the game, and her captain ability isn't too bad either. She gives you attack proportionate to the amount of healing you have done in the previous turn. So that goes well in conjunction with the special ability. Her cooldown is 13 turns, which is a bit high. But if you're stalling, it's not too bad. With the limit break expansion, she just gets 1 cooldown, so it's not too worth it. Her support effect, it just gives you some healing, and her Psy slots are not too amazing, but it does attach to all Psy characters, so it's not too bad. So this is actually a really good option to pick up, and she's also good for the new Summer Girls event on Monster Cruise that's out at the moment. So if you don't have a good unit for that, that's also not a bad option. Then moving on to Katakuri, he is honestly not too great in the current day. His main issue is that he's a very risky legend to play with, so you basically always have to be below 50% HP to get all of his buffs. So if your HP is below 50% in his captain ability, he gives you 5x, and it's only 4x otherwise. He also gives really good damage reduction if you're under 50%, so it's not too bad. So if you're under 50%, it's gonna be hard for you to still die, so it's not too bad. But the fact that he doesn't boost any other types besides not even by a minor multiplier, that makes him pretty average. But he is really good in Kizuna in teams because of his special effect. So his special effect states that he will deal 50k fixed 10 times to random enemies. So it's not too bad if you want to get rid of mobs in the back. But he gives the crew a universal 2x attack boost. But this is the really good part. He boosts damage against delayed enemies for a turn. But so this special goes really well in conjunction with his super type. So his super type says that he will ignore all immunity and delay your enemy for 1 turn. So that means in Kizuna, even if the enemy has a full immunity, you'll be able to get a delay. He'll get a self-proccing delay attack boost. Unfortunately, the ordinary attack boost he gives is only 2x, so that's not too great. But just having this guaranteed conditional boost is always good to have. On 13 turn cooldown is not too bad. As for his super type, he must be below 30%. I kind of wish that it was just below 50% so that it worked well with his captain ability. But honestly, it's not too bad if you don't have any other good int units. But if you have, like, for say the Halloween Miyok Law, then this character isn't too amazing. But it isn't too bad of a pickup, but I wouldn't recommend it over like someone like Belle Hancock. His support is just stat boosting as well, so nothing amazing there. Moving on to the next character is Arlong Cruz. So this one, off the bat, I'm just saying that you should not get this unit. Even if you have the medals, a lot of medals just don't, because there's probably going to be better units in the future that come into the medal shop. So this unit's captain ability is like similar to that of version 2 Big Moms, where you have to have one of each type on the crew. So that already makes this unit horrible for his captain ability. So I'm not even going to go through that, that's horrible. Then as for his swap effect, he gives himself a matching orb and gives a bit of a base stat boost to your team for a turn. It varies based on your health. So it's not too amazing since it only goes up to 250 base attack boost. So not too useful. He doesn't have any utility in his switch effect. So honestly, one of the worst switch effects in the game. So his captain ability and his swap is terrible. And his special effect requires you to be below 30%, and then he'll give you a 2.5 universal attack boost. Otherwise, it's only 2 times. So very niche. He also gives you 2 turns of cooldown. But if you're in the situation where you have less than 30% health, the special isn't too bad. But otherwise, it's not really that great. And as for his support effect, does he even have a support effect? No, he doesn't. Okay, that makes this character even worse. And I think it's just that, even if there is, I think it's just the stat boost, because I don't remember ever using his support effect. So overall, a terrible unit, so I would not recommend picking him up. But if he's literally the only unit you're missing in the game and you have the medals, then you can pick him up. But otherwise, just don't. Moving on to the 250 male characters, we have Bullet and Sabo Koala. So these units actually aren't too bad. I would definitely recommend picking up Bullet. He's still pretty good in today's day and age. Just having that effect to be he have his type beneficial against all types is so good. So he gives strength, quick, and in characters 4x, and gives you a bit of HP, and then he boosts his own attack by 4.75x. So his multipliers aren't too great in today's day and age, but he himself just hits so hard, and you can still defeat most bosses with just that. And the fact that he's beneficial against all enemies, and he still gives some HP. And he also makes strength, quick, and int orbs beneficial for strength, quick, and int characters. So he gives you matching slots, a lot of damage, and some HP. So pretty good captain, can still be used today. As for his special, it's for 14 turns. It's a bit 15 turns if you limit break expand him. He's still only 14 turns. So that's still quite high for what he gives. But he gives a universal 20 HP cut that'll ignore barriers. So that's not too bad. But then this effect that states he'll do his special will deal double times the damage that Bullet has done in that turn for 2 turns. So say in this turn you did hit Bullet hit 500,000 damage. Then the special will deal 1 million at the end of the turn. So it is pretty good, since Bullet's going to be hitting the hardest on the team. But it's such a high CD, and normal attacks only completely negates this effect, so it's not the best. But his captain effect is still really good, and he just has a stat support, so nothing amazing there. But other than that, this unit's actually a really good pickup for 250 medals. I definitely think he's worth it. But moving on to the next character, which is Sabo Koala. So this character is actually really good. I mean, they're not amazing in today's day and age. You definitely won't be needing them for any content, but they are pretty unique and they offer quite a lot. So their support effect is very good. So it removes all despair and paralysis on themselves, and it gives them a matching slot. And then this amazing effect of boosting the color affinity of free spirit and cerebral characters by 1.5x for one turn. Pretty good swap. If you're running them as captain, then they completely negate despair, so that's awesome. The captain effect is a bit weak for today. They only boost cerebral and free spirit by 4x, so you probably wouldn't want to be using them as a captain. And they're only like 3x separately before you combine them. So the fact that they're a dual unit completely crushes their captain effect. But as for the special, they change block and barely matching orbs into matching. Gives a 2.25x attack for free spirit and cerebral characters. So that is actually pretty good. I mean, 2.25x is pretty good for a unit this old. And they also are the only character to have this effect, which states that they'll remove beneficial and non-beneficial or buff and debuff on the crew completely. So if the enemy gives you a debuff where they make all type slots badly matching, then this character will completely remove that. So pretty good, very unique effect. So overall, you can they are pretty interesting hybrids they can run up with this character, such as you can make a free spirit team using Sabo Koala and Luffy Ace. So Luffy Ace can be used sometime. So what happens is these characters give you an attack boost and color affinity in their swap effect, and then Luffy Ace gives you an orb boost. So just with running that hybrid, you can get an affinity, attack boost, and an orb boost, and some utility with the switch effects. Also, Luffy Ace also removes despair on themselves, so with the switch effect, so this pair will also completely negate despair on themselves. So honestly, not the best, but not the worst pickup. For 250 medals, I think this character would be more of a 150 medal character, but not a bad pickup, but not the best either. Moving on to the 150 medal characters. So right off the bat, we have the first unit here, which is Katakuri, which is probably the best unit in this category. I would say that Katakuri is even better than Sabo Koala. And I say this because his 6+ is so good. So he's such a fun unit to play with as well. So in his captain ability, he's going to boost attack of Slasher, Striker, Driven, Cerebral, and Powers characters by around 2x, which doesn't seem all great. But if they have 2 of those classes, then it's increased by a significant amount, and it becomes like 4.5x. So, and he also gives a bunch of matching orbs and some damage reduction. And he has this really fun effect which states that if you do a certain amount of damage in the previous turn, he gives a guaranteed delay to an enemy. So it's the percentage chance of the delay happening depends on the amount of damage you've done. So if you do 100k, it's only like 20% chance to delay. But if you go up to 750,000, it's a guaranteed delay. But that still doesn't go through immunity. But if you do 1.5 million damage, then it goes through immunity. So it's like you can get like a delay almost every turn. So that's awesome. So he actually hybrids up with a lot of good units. And if you hybrid him up for, say, like versus Whitebeard, you can get versus Whitebeard's amazing captain ability and special in conjunction with the delay that Katakuri provides. So such an amazing captain ability, still is really good today. But as for his limit break expansion, he goes down to 9 turns for his special, and his captain ability becomes better. I'm pretty sure then it decreases the amount of damage you have to do for the guaranteed delay. So as for his special, it gives you end of turn tap timing damage, so not too bad. It actually is quite a bit. Then he changes block orbs, only block orbs, into matching, so he can get around block orbs. And he makes all type slots matching for Slasher, Striker, Driven, Cerebral, and Powerhouse for 2 turns. So that's pretty good. Recovery and Tandem are still not beneficial, but he makes that beneficial in his captain ability anyways. So then he gives us effect that if you hit 3 perfects in the turn that the special is activated, he boosts attack against delayed enemies the next turn. So that means you can delay the enemy in the captain effect and get the get it procced with the special effect. So honestly, a really good unit. Definitely worth the pickup. And he's such a fun unit. Definitely probably my favorite unit in the game. He's so good to play with. Then his support effect, which attaches to Cracker and Smoothie. Once per adventure, when the supported character uses the special, boosts attack against delayed enemies by 1.4x for 1 turn. So it's not too amazing, but I'm pretty sure there's a Smoothie character that delays. So I guess you can use it for that. But other than that, not an amazing support effect. But overall, definitely pick him up. Such an amazing unit. Definitely the best in the 150 medals category. Moving on to Shanks crew. I'm trying to speed this up because this is going to be quite a long video. So Shanks crew, not Shanks crew, Shanks, or otherwise dubbed as V2 Shanks, is a free spirit cerebral in character. He is very good for mono type teams. So if there's four characters of the same type on the crew, he gives that type a 2.25x attack boost. He's such an old unit, so this having a 2.25x attack boost is pretty good. And he also changes all orbs, including block, to the type that has 4 characters on the team. He also gives you 0.9 to the chain multiplier, so this special offers orbs, an attack boost, and a chain boost. So very good special for monotype teams. His captain ability isn't amazing. It works with monotype as well, but it's pretty weak. If you limit break him though, it's a bit better. But other than that, stat boost, support effect. His special is definitely the best part of this character. If you don't have him, it's definitely not a bad pickup. His special is just so good. It can still be used today in monotype teams. So I would recommend picking him up if you don't have him. Then moving on to Rayleigh. In terms of normal play, this character is pretty mediocre, but he is pretty good in PvP. But PvP isn't ultra relevant. I'm not gonna weigh that into whether you should get the character or not. He deals fixed damage, ignoring barriers. He gives you a 3x chain lock, and gives you only a 2x all boost. And then he deals with this HP. If depending on your HP, he gives you some matching orbs. He doesn't offer too much. 2x orb, which is pretty mediocre today. A 3x chain lock. The fixed damage doesn't really matter too much. It's not AoE. But his captain ability isn't that great either. He gives you, if you need to be a bit at low HP for him to work, and he's still not that great, then he only gives you 4.5x. So his captain ability is mediocre. His special is like all over the show. There's like a bunch of random things, not all too great. 12 turn cooldown isn't too bad, but yeah, his support effect is just stat boosting and damage reduction as well. So overall, I guess if you don't have him, then and you have a lot of mills, then you should pick him up, but yeah, he's not too worth it. Moving on to Sabo. Now this is an interesting unit. So this unit's honestly could still be used today if as a captain if you limit break expand him. So what his limit break expanded captain fixes is that if there is a strength, dex, and quick unit in your crew, then you'll get -2 cooldown at the start of the quest. Amazing off the bat. Then he'll give you a 3x attack boost and a 1.3x HP boost, and he gives you strength, dex, and quick beneficial orbs for the crew. And if there was 0 psi or int characters, you will get 4.5x flat. So That's really good. It's 3.885x if you don't expand him, but this 4.5x of the expansion is actually really good today. I mean, getting 2 cooldown as well, and a 1.3x HP boost, as well as the 4.5 attack boost is actually pretty good. His special is a multiple turn attack boost if you hit perfects for strength X and quick. I mean, it's only 1.75x and 2x. It's not too amazing, but having it over 2 turns is not too bad. And if you limit break expand him, then he'll only be 11 turns, so not too bad. He support effect attaches to Koala, Rebecca, and Hack, so very obscure characters, but it reduces special 1 by 3 turns if you're inflicted with it. Very uncommon debuff and very odd characters that he supports, so mediocre support effect. I guess you could use it in niche circumstances, but other than that, very good unit if you expand him. But if you're not expanding him, he's not too great, but he's still worth picking up. So moving on to the next character, Luchi. So this character is probably the worst in this in the 150 medals, but personally for me, I am missing him. He's like the only old legend that I'm missing, and yeah, I have all the older legends, but he's the only one I'm missing, so I'm definitely picking him up. So he's terrible because he only is a 3.75x captain to 1 type, and he reduces the recovery to 0. So, and they need to have a beneficial orb for them for the 3.75x attack boost, otherwise it's just 3x, so pretty mediocre. Nah, that's just straight up terrible. Then his special is just gives you a high chance of matching orbs and some type is damage to only 1 enemy. Horrible special, horrible counter ability, and he just has a stat boosting support effect. So horrible unit, don't pick him up. But if you're like in my circumstance and he's the only old character you're missing, then sure, pick him up. Then we're moving on to probably the second most worth characters to pick up here. We have Rayleigh. In his 6+ form, he reduces bind, despair, and paralysis by 7 turns, and he gives delay and makes perfects easy to hit. The delay and easy and perfects isn't too important, but this utility is so good. For such an old legend, he's so good. His captain ability is just one of those chain multipliers units that don't have a good attack boost at all. So his attack boost is, I mean, his captain ability isn't what you're using him for, but an amazing utility, and being 11 turns off the expansion is so good. I mean, he isn't used too much today since he only offers you utility and no like damage boosting effects, but he definitely is still used for his support effect, which attaches to all Luffy characters. So such an amazing supported characters list. I mean, it's not a list, it's one character, but there's so many Luffy units in the game. He reduces bind, despair, or paralysis by 2 turns, so straight off the bat, that's really good. Amazing support effect and special, so pick him up if you're missing him. Then we go on to Kung Fu Luffy. No one ever uses this unit, but he isn't too bad. He's one of those units where you have to hit perfects for the good attack multiplier. He after 5 perfects, it's a 4x attack boost, so pretty bad. But he has a very large amount of HP, 1.5x. His special states that he changes adjacent orbs into matching, and a 1.75 attack boost, and damage reduction, threshold damage reduction, and he makes perfects easy to hit. A bunch of random effects. Threshold isn't too bad, and that attack boost is pretty meh. So overall, not an amazing unit. You're not going to be using him anyway. His captain ability is also pretty bad. His support effect, however, attaching to all the straw hats, he's going to change adjacent orbs into matching and makes perfects a bit easier to hit. So giving adjacent orbs matching isn't too bad, but the support character needs to use a special, so overall not too amazing. But if he's a pretty low chance unit to get, so I mean, if you're missing him, then it's not the worst pickup. Then we're moving on to the very obscure units. So These are all the log units that I'm guessing they're in the medal shop due to the 1000th episode. But we have 100 medals and 50 medals, so it's pretty expensive for pretty useless units, but I'm just gonna go through them anyways. So first we have Summertime Pudding. She literally just reduces paralysis by 1 turn. Such a... Oh wait, that's a sailor ability. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Sorry. So she gives some healing. She reduces attack down by 5 turns and completely reduces by resilience by 5 turns and gives adjacent orbs matching. So the orbs aren't too amazing, but the utility is actually pretty decent. I mean, it's going to be pretty niche uses, but not a terrible special. And the sailor ability is actually really good. You're not going to be using her for her captain ability either. I mean, if you don't have her, then I still don't think it's worth it. I mean, 100 medals for an enemy unit like this isn't too worth it. She's not even a log character. I don't know why she's there. But moving on to these other characters, they're all log characters. So you have Vivi. I'm pretty sure that she was this Vivi and Ace were available for their 4th anniversary. So this is a while ago. They aren't available right now. So this is the only way to get them. Terrible captain ability, some XP, but no one cares about that. She cuts Crew's HP, so she's not too bad if you're working with captains that work with low HP. She cuts the one enemy by 10 HP, I mean 10% that ignores barriers. She changes top and bottom type slots to matching, and she gives a 1.75x all boost. And if the captain is a slash or striker, she removes enemy like end of turn attacked completely, so no one cares about that effect. Very mediocre special. Don't recommend picking up unless you're a collector and you want to get these characters. Ace, however, I'm pretty sure he is excellent for Legend Quickbeard, because he reduces HP to 1, which gives Quickbeard his highest attack boost. And he completely removes poison and reduces paralysis, bind, and silence by 4 turns. So very good utility. Then he'll give you some HP and change empty, block, and bomb into matching. And if your captain is a free sport or powerhouse, reduces enemy's threshold by 5 turns as well. So excellent utility. Decent orb manipulation, and gives you some healing. So not too bad. Very good unit. I'd recommend picking him up if you don't have him. Then we have these units. Off the bat, don't pick them up. These are all very horrible. These are so old. I remember. I think you can still pull these units. I remember not pulling them long ago, so I don't even know why they're in the middle shop. But they all have terrible specials, and obviously bad captain effects. So just don't pick them up. There's no reason to. Other than that, that concludes this video. I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.